Let's bring in Republican Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana. He's also the House Minority Whip. So I understand that Kevin McCarthy is suggesting that every member of the House Intelligence Committee have a chance to have this same briefing. Do you have any more on that? It seems reasonable to me.
Well, Dana, look, first of all, if you look at the Democrat Party up here in Washington, they've got a serious China problem. Pelosi herself has been very soft on China. We were putting together a bipartisan commission to look into China's activities on many fronts, from COVID-19 to theft of intellectual property, all the way down to attempted spying and successful spying. Senator Feinstein had a Chinese spy for over 20 years, driving her around, and yet Pelosi pulled the plug on that commission, Dana. Leader McCarthy went forward anyway, and Chairman McCall put out a report that really is scathing and alarming. If any American reads it, they would be very concerned about China too, but for whatever reason, Speaker Pelosi won't continue to be aggressive on China, and then she won't pull Swalwell off the committee. There are serious questions that she needs to answer. She hasn't answered. Swalwell himself should be answering some of these very basic questions, but it raises alarms about a deeper rift and problem within the Democrat Party in Congress, that they have a blind eye towards China.
Do you think that this request from McCarthy is going to be granted by the FBI?
I hope they will, because, it took weeks for Leader McCarthy to get that briefing. And of course, it raised even more concern to him than before he had the briefing. And again, did Speaker Pelosi know about the relationship that Eric Swalwell had with this Chinese spy before she put him on the Intelligence Committee, potentially compromising that committee? Fang Fang, the spy, actually infiltrated Swalwell's office. Were there documents, classified documents from the Intel Committee, that were exposed and available for that Chinese spy in his office to get access to? All these are very basic questions that deserve answers, and so far Speaker Pelosi has been conspicuously silent on these fronts.
So you talked about a broader problem. What do you think the consequences are of this broader problem? I mean, can you think ahead to where there might be some concern in the future?
Well, America is more at risk if we don't have a united front taking on China when they do things like put spies in offices of members of Congress. Again, Eric Swalwell was not the first person that they were able to infiltrate. Senator Feinstein, for 20 years, had a Chinese spy embedded in her office, and in fact, who was driving her around, probably listening to some very sensitive information, and then feeding that right back to the Chinese Communist Party. This has been going on for a long time. President Trump has been willing to take on China, but why aren't Democrats in Congress willing to do the same thing? It puts America at risk when they're not aggressively pursuing this like we are.
Do you think that, at least from the Republican side of things, that there should be just a quick check across the country from city council offices, state legislatures? We know that's where they were starting.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it should be alarming and raise red flags to everybody that this isn't just at the congressional level. They literally were infiltrating Eric Swalwell's office when he was a councilman in California. Mayors supposedly had relationships inappropriately with Fang Fang, the Chinese spy. What's going on over there, that especially in the Bay Area, where you seem to have this outbreak of China's intrusion, and why aren't they alarmed and raising the same red flags that we are?
Good question. We'll see if we can get some answers here as well. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Dana. Thanks.